Hey there. Hope everyone is doing fine, having a lovely day. Hey, George. George is going to be hosting this space today, and we are going to have a very special guest with us. Hey, George, what's up?
Hi, hello, Libby.
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Libby had an issue with a dentist, and she's a bit numb right now. So I will do most of the talking just to help her out. We are waiting for our guest, Mir Liponi, to join. There she is. Mir, you can hit the. I've invited you. And as soon as Mir has managed to connect and can come on stage, we can start chatting. Today, we're going to talk about the Santorini Halving party, and one of our special guests is Mir Liponi, who's going to be joining us on stage to talk and talk
Yeah,
about Bitcoin. Yeah,
here
hi.
again. Hi.
There you are. There you are. That's the energy that we need. Yes, yes. That's why we need you there. It's even though I'm Mediterranean too, my energy levels are a lot lower. So we need that. Yeah, let's do this energy. Hi.
Well, I have to say it's because probably not be probably I'm Italian, but I'm from the north of Italy, so I am just like the cold Italians. But it's also because of Bitcoin, because every time, and it's been so many years, every time I speak about Bitcoin, I can talk about it, I think about it. I am so bullish about the future, about everything. So it's always an honor to me to be part of this community and to have the occasion to talk, and also even better to listen to this community. So yeah, the enthusiasm is because of that, is because of this community, I guess, but also because I'm
Nice,
Italian,
nice.
for sure.
Exactly, exactly. Um, I don't know if you're working full time, right? I'm sure you're working full time in Bitcoin right now. So yeah, it doesn't feel like work. You just
Well, yeah,
it's so exciting.
yeah, it's not only that I work on Bitcoin full time, but I have other projects outside Bitcoin too. So I think it's my formula to get all of these happiness and enthusiasm all around, because I can switch to different activities and always feel very happy. And I also love the idea of the contagious that the contagion that can happen between different fields, and it's something I really believe in. But for sure, Bitcoin is so multidisciplinary that it's very very difficult to get bored, because even if you work in Bitcoin, not only study Bitcoin, because you have to address a Bitcoin from many different angles all the time. It's really challenge yourself all the time. Even if it's just a full-time job, it's a multi-job, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's never boring. It's never boring. Since you mentioned it, let's talk a bit about the whole thing that you talk about with polymathy,
Yeah,
just to give some context to the people listening to us.
yeah, yeah.
Of course, I knew about Mir from from the internet. Okay, I was following her, but we hadn't ever spoken in person. But in Riga, during Baltic Honey Badger at the newbie stage, basically what was it called, noob stage or whatever, she gave a talk about polymathy in Bitcoin
Yeah.
and how these two things relate. And I will let you tell us a bit about it. I just want to say my experience
Okay.
because
Yeah, well,
I was I was blown away by that talk. It really resonated with me
yeah.
because I've been struggling with this my entire life. I am a polymath. I am a jack of all trades. I do so many things that when people ask me, what do you do? I sigh, like Michael Saylor does
Yeah.
before explaining Bitcoin. That's how I sigh because okay, where do I begin? So I just say one thing and then I say something else, and oh, you do this as well. And this is so weird. This sounds so weird to some people, but it's second nature to me. And I really liked your talk because it showed how Bitcoin is multidisciplinary you need to study all these things to understand it. And we generally say these things. So yeah, tell us a bit about that. Give us your opinion on this.
So I've been studying the polymathy since some year. It's a passion of mine. So, and I have just, not just, but I've discovered that there are not many things, not many publications, no many books, no many studies about it. And so it has been many years because it requires a lot of research more than I thought. And to me, it's one of the most interesting topic. And not only because it's something that we have to think about historically, but something we have to think about for ourselves in our life, lifestyle of many people and many Bitcoiners is just like a lifestyle of a sort of a modern contemporary polymath. And even if you are not one, you don't feel you are one. Bitcoin, it's incredible in the sense that it can really make you very similar to a polymath because you have to not only to explore so many different disciplines and fields, but you have to connect everything together. You have to understand the intersection between all of these fields and how if you change one part, all of the other parts are also involved. Bitcoin is a complex system. So it's very interesting because when you understand that, you also understand your own complexity as a person. And you're like, okay, it's impossible for me to be just one thing, just one role. The majority of people cannot identify in one identity. Uh, this is something that has been around since probably 200 years, and it's something amazing. The division of labor and all the progress, the specialization, it's great. But we have to be aware that it's something created for more efficiency. It's not how the human being has been made. It's not what the human being was born to do. So it's normal. It's actually important to be um, people with many interests in many roles, and Bitcoin is a strong occasion to come back to this awareness or to feel just good about it because you're like, okay, I studied that, I studied that, I studied that. And I'm okay with the fact that sometimes I can be more a specialist and sometimes I can understand only the surface of something. But when you have to study Bitcoin, you have to understand so many disciplines, at least at the surface, to interconnect all the other parts. So it's magic. It's not something that happened with many topic in reality, if you think about it. So it's normal that are plenty of people in Bitcoin, plenty of Bitcoiners are, I wouldn't say polymath because polymath is a very strong word, but at least multi-potentialite people, at least a jack of all trades, at least whatever you prefer and whatever you identified with. And I mean with that, a person that does identify with only one role, one specialization from I mean, from the teenage years, from the to the year of retirement. It is something of the past, but it very recent past. During the last 200 years, in the past, in the ancient eras, it was kind of normal to be polymath. It was something celebrated, and nowadays we live more similar to that, but there's a part of society and the job market that doesn't understand that. So this is why we feel so frustrated with that. And so I try to end with that because I can talk about that for hours. But I think that Bitcoin is our occasion to really feel good also about um, I would say mm, our humanity, our strong need to explore different fields and don't feel guilt about it. it is something normal, but I would say is a privilege. And so, yes, once again, Bitcoin is the starting point and in some way the ending point too.
Yes, yes, it is a kind of a privilege, and you could say that Bitcoin also gives you the time to be able to explore it further.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's so
see
true.
with many people going to Bitcoin, and they have enough time, they have saved up enough money, enough hard money, right? And they can travel and they can follow, they can chase their dreams without sacrificing much, without being in excess, without being in living in luxury, just being able to safely store your time and carry that in 5 years into the future, that's quite
Wow,
important, like to fight inflation and to invest.
that's a very
Mm,
interesting point. I completely agree with that. You're with Bitcoin, you're not buying a currency, of course, only, but you're buying time, you're buying your free time, and you're buying your future, your legacy. And
mm,
this is really important, not only for yourself, but for the culture. Because when I heard, and I heard the expression Renaissance 2.0 or 3.0, whatever, it's so true in that sense, because now you have time to focus on something more important for yourself and adding value to other people too. It's not the first time in history, but at least the second time. So it's Renaissance 2.0 at least. And it's only because of Bitcoin, because of this idea that you can not, you can really feel and live in not a very uh, high time preference. You live in a low time preference, so you are just like thinking in long term, yes, and you can focus on the things that really matter and trust to you and go deep inside your interests, and this this is really benefits yourself and all the knowledge. I cannot wait for to see what is going on when Bitcoiners as are going to produce more and more knowledge, because it's going to be explosive for life when we are going to we are still doing already doing that, but in the future I imagine so many Bitcoiners developing finally their own theories, their own criteria, their own discipline, their own university, their own I would say hospitals, whatever. It's going to be massive if you think about it. And yes, I'm very, very bullish about this idea. Yes, so right. We are buying time, we are buying our future, definitely with Bitcoin. It is something that's not the first time, but almost.
mm. No, I completely agree with that. We talked about the Cambrian explosion. I think Giacomo mentioned it at some point of applications, of people, of platforms, of ideas. It's happening right now, and the word Renaissance is the perfect word because obviously the historic Renaissance was one of the most amazing times in human history. And that happened due to hard money, that happened due to patrons giving the time and the money that philosophers and creators could focus on doing wonderful pieces of artwork and wonderful literary works, basically books. So I think we're going to see these things. And you mentioned something about universities and stuff like that. If you think about it, Saifeddin, for example, has basically started that.
Yeah,
If you think about the Saifeddin courses, that's what he started. It is a university. It's an Austrian economy Bitcoin university, right? Basically, that's what it is. If you think about it.
yeah, absolutely. But now you
Mm,
have to recreate another type of university or another word that I cannot think about it. Also, I was also thinking about there is this effect called the Medici effect, like
yeah,
the family of Medici. I don't know if you ever heard about it, but
I know.
it's very important for Bitcoin to stay together, because the best ideas are not going to be found when we are isolated. This is why I believe in conferences, in meeting each other in the spaces or whatever. every time we create and we boost our community, it's so important because there is this a sort of a hive mind effect. When we are all together, we create the best stuff. It's not possible if we stay scattered all around the globe. It's also possible, but not so powerful. I mean, so it's once again it's I'm talking about Renaissance, and again with the Medici effect, it's so important. This is why I think that during this next month there are going to be some conferences, the halving happening, and I'm so happy to be in Santorini. And I like the idea that we can contage each other, talking to each other, having fun, but also having some ideas, because the best things happen when we talk in our spare time during lunch. I'm Italian, of course, and I strongly believe the best ideas, of course, are in front of food. But it's also because we have a very long time having lunch or dinner, and also because there is a very nice atmosphere. So I strongly believe that when we meet each other, especially in a not informal situation, it's also where and when the magic happens for the knowledge too.
Mm, I agree. I agree. I don't want to. I just want your opinion, since you mentioned the importance of conferences. Obviously, I agree with you. I really like that. I'm not planning to go to every conference imaginable because there are far too many, but I do want to go to some select ones. Obviously, the Santorini Halving party that I'm organizing is half a conference, and I'm also planning to go to BTC Prague.
Yeah,
It was very nice last year.
yeah.
I'm going there this year as well. It's also a long time after the Santorini party, so I will have recovered
Yeah, yeah,
basically,
yeah.
and I'll be able to go. Yeah,
That's
and also
important.
it seems that Madeira is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
You're gonna give a talk there as well.
Yeah, of course. I am an addiction to conferences. I want to be in every single one, but probably have Giacomo is even worse than me. He's a
Yeah.
very he thinks he can probably not sleep, not eat, and not live because he's very optimistic in his schedule. I'm the one trying to make him realize that this is a little bit too much. And so, for example, we decided that during this part of the year we're going to stay Europe, and this is something that we really needed to talk about. But the idea was to travel even more, that we are going to do, and to do one conference per month, not more. So it's basically we have one conference every month now, and
One conference per month,
yeah,
which is crazy
which is
in on its own.
crazy.
But that's your maximum. It's like
Yeah,
your
yeah,
yeah, take it or leave it. Okay, you're also going to Bitcoin Oasis
yeah,
in Dubai, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. We both
you call
believe.
that Europe? Yeah, okay. It's just a plane away. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
so
not
it's
a
going to be basically is just like a tourney, just like Dubai and then Madeira and then Santorini, and then we are going to have the first Italian conference, very maximalist conference happening in Brescia, Bitcare. I'm so happy it's going to be all in Italian, very maximalist. I'm so happy about that. So we're going to stay in Italy in May, and then BTC Prague, and then we're going to stop for the summer a little bit. I hope so. So it's going to be. I'm so happy. I'm really happy because I'm going to meet so many people. I'm going to listen so many things, but I need some time also to wait a second, to make all this thing to stay there, and to I don't want to be too much overwhelmed, because not only physically, I'm speaking also about all the ideas going on, because I also want to have time to think about all the suggestions, all the things going on. So it's very important to stop a little bit. And yeah, looking forward for all of these occasions.
Okay, okay, that's a crazy schedule.
Yeah, it is.
But I wanted to say something that you're doing all these and you're a mother. as well,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
That's very inspiring. Tell us about it. How is that
Oh,
possible?
it's possible because I have the luxury to have a big family around us. So we have a lot of help from all the people of our families. So and also we decided to. So now we have two kids. So for example, we're going to travel in some conferences with the kids, other times without. So only with one kid, only with the other. So we are trying to find ways to make everybody happy and not too overwhelmed. And this is really possible only because of the family. But once again, we're Italians, and having help from the family is still kind of normal, is still considered a privilege to the family. So it's amazing because it's also they are evaluating our job in Bitcoin important. They are not Bitcoiners, but they are supporting Bitcoin so much, making us for us possible to travel, to talk with people, to connect with people. So I think it's another way to be Bitcoiner, and it's a very important as a support. So I'm really really grateful for that.
I agree. I'm Greek as well. We have large families. It's quite normal for various generations, 2 or 3 generations, to not basically live in the same house, but to be close by so that they help out with raising the kids. You always have a grandmother nearby, ready to not to babysit, to help you raise the kid. It's not just babysitting. It's
Right.
not a job.
I
Yeah.
didn't have the occasion growing up to have grandparents because my parents had me very late. So I didn't have
Ah,
grandparents. So to me, it's something very magical to see this kind of relationship with my kids. And sometimes I am just like, how am I supposed to behave? Because I don't know, it's something I never experienced for myself, but from outside, it's so important. And so I tend to privilege that for my kids too, because I think it's so important to have other people around you, not only your parents but also the extended family can really really help you, because you are limited as a person, even if you are polymath, even if you have so many interests and going on, but other people can add so much, and if you include them in the education of your kids is a win-win in my perspective.
of course, of course. And this emerging Bitcoin ethos is going back to the family values, right? To the big by big families like in the Mediterranean, like we have in Italy and Greece. It is about low time preference, about building something that will last basically for your children, right? That's one of the amazing things that is
It's
happening to the
incredible.
Bitcoin community, right?
Right. It's because for us, it's just normal. It's just the way it is. We're talking with other people. It's not normal at all. It's something that you have to recreate or create for the first time. You haven't experienced it in your life. And we're in a way other culture are coming back to that. But for us, thankfully, there are many flaws here in Europe and the Mediterranean part. But for that, it's it's a very healthy scenario we are living in. And still it is, especially in the south of Italy. In the north of Italy is slightly different, but things are changing. But I still think that it's the best formula. I strongly believe it's the best luxury, especially when you have kids, to have an extended family around you.
Yeah, and of course it's nice. I have my nieces and nephews. They play with each other, with their cousins. It's very nice to have an extended family and not being isolated. If you think about it, one of the fiat things that have been forced on us is this attempt to be on your own and trying to make it in the big city or whatever. But that breaks down these nice connections that we have with our extended family, and you end up failing, right? Because it's tough out there. Life can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, there is
And pe-
this concept of the nuclear family. and where you are very insulated, and exactly what we were talking about. It's not the extended family, it's not the village, of course, because you can create also a village with all of your Bitcoiners. It's not only by blood, of course, but with
Yeah.
people with the same goals, taking care of each other. It's not the nuclear family. The nuclear family is so recent as a concept and so dangerous in so many things. Sometimes you have to leave, especially if you are an expat, just like an atomic family. But in my experience, the majority of people that I know that are living in that situation, especially when they have kids, it's really tragic at some point.
Mm.
So you have to recreate the village with the people around you, or with Bitcoiners all around the world. But it's the proximity. It's so important. It's really, really important.
Mm. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this. I don't know if it's common knowledge. Can we say that you're planning to move, and how will you handle this?
Yeah, no, that's
Just
okay.
what we just said.
No, no,
Yeah.
it's we can say that. Yeah, we are kind of moving. I would say a kind of, because Giacomo is already in Switzerland, living there since some years, and I'm in Italy with the kids. But we are in the process to coming back all together in Switzerland, because yeah, there are plenty of reasons for that. But also Switzerland, the Italian part, it's so close to Italy that yeah, it's a moving, but they are culturally very very close to us, and with other benefits. And also there is a reason that now Lugano is a sort of I would say
Mm.
citadel, but they are trying to boosting a circular economy in Lugano, and not only trying, they are doing that pretty well. There are many shops accepting Bitcoin right now. There are many initiatives that are expanding there, all about Bitcoin. So we want to be close to that, and yeah. Milan and Lugano are not far away, but I think it's important to stay in the territory, and for everything that is going on and it's going to happen in the next month there.
Nice. So it's not that big of a
No,
move,
it is
basically,
not.
because even though it's Switzerland, it's a weird situation where much of the population is Italian speaking, and the culture
Actually,
is kind of Italian adjacent, right?
no, there is only one small part, the Ticino, and one part of another canton, Grigioni. They
Mm.
talk Italian, but all of the other part, Switzerland, they are the majority. They talk Swiss, German, and French. So it's a very small part. But we are very close to that one. And Lugano is in the Italian part, so we are very lucky that everything is happening in the Italian part, so we can move there without any trauma, also linguistic trauma, which is great for the kids, and so on. And yeah, and also culturally speaking, of course, all the parts, I wouldn't say something too controversial, but I feel that the Italian Swiss have something in common with the Italian, especially in the northern part, more than all the other Swiss. So I feel that the moving there, it's not going to be that weird in that sense, because we feel that we are cousins, very close cousins.
Nice. And how is Bitcoin there? We have Plan B, the initiative, we have the conference,
Yes.
Lugano Plan B. It was quite big. I didn't go there. Actually, Flo went there. I don't know if she wants to
Yeah,
say something about
absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
She had lots of fun there.
Y- Yes.
Should I visit?
Oh, well, I think Lugano is a very, very nice city. There's the lake, of course, very, very organized, and so the idea of having a conference there, just in the center of Europe, was really a good idea, in my opinion, especially because nothing was happening in Italy since many years. And so the first year was just experimentation, but last year, the last conference, Plan B Lugano, was incredible. Wow, such a great conference there. And even if the weather was terrible, it was raining all the time, which is weird because the first year the weather was amazing, sunny all the time. almost just like summer. But everything that was going on during the conference was pretty well organized and amazing people, great energy. And I totally recommend the conference. But also, I was telling before, in Lugano there are plenty of shops now, plenty of services accepting Bitcoin. So for example, the other day I was entering into a shop and I get to pay with Bitcoin. It's not so common. You don't have to think. I don't think the term circular economy is correct in the sense of Lugano, because it's something that is not
Not
grassroots
or-
from people.
not organic, not organic. Yeah, basically, if I'm allowed to say this, my opinion, basically Tether went ahead and said, okay, with partnership with the mayor, they've made it so that people can use Tether and Bitcoin Lightning,
Yeah, it is.
and
Yeah,
and they have given people the POS devices and the infrastructure to use it. But it's not, you can't call it an organic
no, absolutely.
grassroots
It's not grassroots.
uh,
You have to think that the
orange pilling. Yeah.
municipality, I would say that the municipality and the mayor, um, they were the first one in a way, as trying to boost the Bitcoin thing. So they found out with Tether and so and Bitfinex, they found out a partner. They found out each other very well, and so everything growed from there. So of course, it's something right now that can still feel a little bit artificial, but there are new things that are going on. For example, the Lugano Satoshi Spritz, it's just like in Italy. Satoshi Spritz is an Italian informal meetup, and right now it is very popular also in Lugano. It was born probably this fall, and every meetups are full of people, so the community is growing. I wouldn't expect so much personally, but it's full of people that really wants to make Bitcoin and the community something bigger and something different. So there are different things going on that can really change this thing. And of course, the Plan B initiative, especially the education part in which Giacomo is involved, is going to play a part. And so I don't know what
Mm.
I'm allowed to say, but in the next month, for sure, we are going to see um, some things in the territory. And so I guess things will move in a different direction. I hope so. And so Plan B initiative is focusing basically on education, but it's also on connecting people working on Bitcoin together and try not to reinvent the wheel. So I really like the idea of the Plan B initiative, the Plan B network.
I like it too. And we discussed, okay, we
Yeah,
discussed in person, but let's explain what is happening, because we might have some educators in
yeah,
the
absolutely.
space or who might listen to this recording. So tell us again the tiny bit of what it is, because I like it. So what it is and what people can do with it.
Absolutely. So I think the best way uh, to explain the Plan B network is the idea that we love decentralization. We love to decentralize things, but centralization is a good thing too, and especially in education. So they are trying to centralize all the materials, all the best educators, all the best effort and tools around educational contents all around the world to redistribute to help people and to help communities, to help everybody learn Bitcoin in a more efficient, in a easier way. And so it is a very big initiative. So there are courses, there are tools, there are websites, there is this idea to have places and to federate all the places about education all over the world. So we're a very early stage, but there's already the website planb.network if you want to go there and to start to explore, and also to give some idea or to give some materials to the people that are developing enormous network. It's we are still in the phase. I'm talking about we. I am supporting that, so, not officially, but of course, Giacomo is the director. So of course, I'm in a way I'm involved and I am updated with everything. And so so for example, one thing I'm very bullish about it is. You have a content, educational content about Bitcoin, some courses, and so they are trying to translate that in many languages using, of course, AI. So
Mm,
it's not possible for all the languages, but if it's a good content and it's not available in your language, they are going to translate that in your language. And so it's going to be pretty amazing because I still think and feel that the linguistic barrier is so, uh, it's still there. It's still there. It's so, I mean, when you study Bitcoin, you have to face so many challenges, the technologies, so many discipline involved, your own ego, and also the fact that the information are still scattered all around. There are plenty of wrong information scams. So if you can remove at least the linguistic barrier, it's something really important. And it's not something that you can avoid because many people cannot speak. I mean, I decided to learn English because of Bitcoin, but it was before I had kids, for example. So I'm not sure I would have the same time to study Bitcoin and English at the same time. So right now, so if you have
No, no, I agree. I'm bilingual. Okay, of course, I can speak in English all the time, and I basically work in English all the time. But I understand that there are many people, for example, Greeks, who cannot study. For example, they might understand a bit, but they can't read an entire book.
exactly,
It's too tiresome for them.
especially when it's
So
so
yes,
complex.
they do prefer a Greek translation of this content,
Exactly.
and what I liked about the Plan B network is that there is a lesson plan, there are some materials, there's a course, Bitcoin 101 basics or whatever, that we can use. And I think we said that between us, but it's worth mentioning it here. Being a polymath also means not reinventing the wheel again.
Yes,
Let's say
absolutely.
you have like two or three disciplines. Let's say you're an expert on something and you do a couple of other things. And at some point you say, okay, I'm gonna become a Bitcoin educator on top of everything because you're a Bitcoiner, you're a polymath, and you want to teach people about this thing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's
Absolutely.
one of the tricks of being a polymath, to find the resource that you can use and take advantage of, and just go ahead and use it and have something ready made.
Yes.
And Plan B Network is providing that basis in education. So I have students, I teach Bitcoin workshops. I don't need to sit down and create all these materials, these educational materials again. I can point them to these materials, and I can maybe translate them in Greek as a basis from that, almost as a starting point. So that's quite important for people who are planning to work on this. And okay, Giacomo is the director. I don't know how much of it is public, but anyway, you can bug him on Twitter. He's quite talkative,
Yeah,
as everybody
yeah.
knows.
Absolutely.
He replies to many comments and questions, and even though he might have some strong opinions, he knows what he's
Some.
talking about, and yes, he knows what he's talking about. And if you're an educator and you want to reach out to him about the Plan B initiative, I really liked it when I discussed it with Mir, and I will probably go ahead and do this in next year, probably, and I will start a series of Bitcoin workshops and use that material basically in Greece, in Athens. So yeah, that's an amazing thing. You wanted to you're working on a project about polymathy.
Yeah.
But is it a secret project or is it something that you can talk about?
No, it's not a secret project. It's for Italian speaker. There's my account on Instagram talking only about that, and I've done some courses, some master class, and some things only in Italian right now. But and I am writing a book. It's going to be a book about not about polymathy, but especially on the tools, on the shortcuts used by polymath to be polymath. So it's not something that I found so far, but I found, of course, some things that I interest in. So many books in speaking and talking with people, and so I have just collected many experiences and many things and put all together. So
Nice.
when you were
I want to read that. I want to read that. If it's in Italian, you need to put it in English at some point so I
idea
can read
is
it.
to start with Italian, but I like the idea of translating in English for sure. And so when
Right.
you were talking before about not reinventing the wheel, my mind was like exactly just like that. This is a typical short cuts off a polymath, just like a meta skill to understand how to reuse, how to recycle the knowledge. It's very, very typical. You are very aware on how and how deep you have to study a field or not, what you can recycle from your previous knowledge. And this is so important. This is only one example, but there are plenty of these because I talk with people all the time and they are like, no, you have to specialize, it's impossible nowadays, impossible because the there are too many information. It was a thing of the past, at least, but still in the past it was not that possible. So I have to fight all the time. And so my idea is to show with a book that it's possible because there are people that have done that in the past and still they are doing that now. So that would be the end of my book. Those people exist. But since I want to be more argumentative about, I'm going to show the tools. So you're going to get, I hope so, some inspiration and to understand your process a little bit more. So it's not going to happen in 2 weeks, but I think it's going to happen, I guess, 2025. This is my goal right now. So I'm working on that too in my free time. So my project about multipotentiality.
Okay, but when do you have free time? You're traveling to one
I
conference
don't
per
have
month.
so many.
You're raising two kids. You have to organize Giacomo, who is very optimistic
So
about his time and his schedule. When do you have the
I
time
don't
to
have
write the
so
book
much
as well?
free time, but I have to say that I don't sleep very much. Not because of the kids, because the kids sleep more than me, but I tend to wake up very early. Naturally, it's not something that I choose. So I wake up very early, so I have 2 or 3 hours every day to do the most important stuff and to think about. And so that's my
Nice.
personal secret to stay on track. But of course, you when you are a mother, you have to accept the reality, and there are reality. For example, this week we all got sick, and so it was a terrible week. So I tend to prepare in advance. But when I stay in advance, so I'm the opposite of Giacomo. I tend to prepare everything weeks before, way before. I mean, if I have a talk in a month, it's already done, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
At, for Santorini, I'm going to everything is going to be ready 1 month before Santorini. Trust me,
Nice,
because
nice.
otherwise I don't feel comfortable because everything could happen. So but I also like the idea to have deadlines, very strong deadlines, because I strongly believe that if I commit to something and I want to go on with that. But for other deadlines, I'm more just like very open, especially in my free time. So my project is the book is going to be ready 2025, but I'm
Hmm.
open not to be like that, but I don't know because it's something that's really going on my mind
And
since years. So I have to finish that because otherwise I'm going to torture myself. So I don't know. So at some point, it's going to be born for sure.
then the next book is going to be about productivity, about traveling,
Wow,
and
that would be
at the
wow.
same time writing a book and being a mom. And yeah, so you work on that.
No, no,
Start
I'm a
writing those
very
notes.
I am not a multitask person. I tend to, oh my God, I don't know how to say to this word, I mean, doing things one thing at a time, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tend not to stop. So I work a lot, I do a lot of stuff, but doing things all together at the same time, oh my God, no, no, no. So next week I'm going to travel to Dubai. So I'm going to stop some things. And this week I'm going to prepare more because I know that I'm going to stop for 1 week. And so, yes, it's a matter of being very, very organized, but at the same time, very flexible. And to me, the second part is very hard. But my kids really, really have told me about that, about being flexible. Also, Giacomo, because Giacomo is very flexible in his lifestyle and he prepares everything just the night before, some hours before the talk. And so in the end, we're just like a normal person because I am, and we are very the opposite in that. In other things, we are very, very similar. So, for example, the other day, I was telling Giacomo that our sense of humor is so damn similar, which is crazy to think about it. And we have been together since more than 20 years now. And I just noticed how stupid we are, and we do the same jokes at the same time. And for that, we are similar. In other things, we are very different. And I think that's the big.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You're basically best friends,
We
right?
are,
At the
we are,
same time.
yeah,
Nice.
we have been since so many years.
Wonderful.
We are having so much fun. So uh, I would say something romantic, but when I met Giacomo, one of the first things I thought about him was just like, we can talk together for hours without getting bored. And this is going to last forever between us because we are so curious and so interested in so many things that is going to last like that probably forever. And I liked it so much. And I felt like this is very unique. I want to talk with him about these things for the rest of my life. So yes, it is one of the things I really liked, and I decided to stay in that relationship because of that.
It's lovely. It's very romantic. I love hearing about it. I saw you posted a photo where you were basically what you were teenagers. What were you like? Was that at uni or you
Mm,
can't? It couldn't have been more than 17,
yeah, around
right?
17, 18, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Well,
Amazing, amazing. That's something to strive for. And what you said about never running out of topics to talk about and having fun together, that's the most important thing. And yeah, I hope it lasts forever. Honestly, it, it's amazing seeing you two together.
Thank you.
Okay. After that, I don't know what we can move on to. We have plenty of. I wanted to open up a few parentheses, but yeah, just like our the call that we had together, we keep talking about new things. Let's plug your work. You have a list of resources in Italian. That's in your profile, in your Twitter, right?
Yeah.
X, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. And that, what is that? It's in Italian, a list of resources about what?
Yeah, so right now I feel guilty because I haven't updated to do with basically 50 resources. But the idea was that in the beginning, the Italian community didn't have a list of good resources only in Italian. So I started this list of resources where there were probably around 20 good resources. And when I say resources, I mean every type of resources from books to videos to meetup to shops accepting Bitcoin. And it was feasible because there weren't plenty of resources at the time some years ago. But right now, oh my God, everything exploded, which
There
really
are too
makes me
many.
Too many.
It's a happy it's a happy problem.
It
It's a
is.
very happy
It
problem
is.
not being able
I
to
can't
track it,
keep up.
right?
I can't keep up. Absolutely. It's impossible. So
Mm.
I don't know what I'm going to do because there is also 21 Ventuno in Italian. They're doing a great job with resources too. And probably they have more time than me. But I don't want to delay that. It's on GitHub. I don't know. I just want to do some updates and then I'm going to decide what to do. And so my goal was to have
Yeah.
that list of resources, and right now it's not possible to have a complete list of resources in Italian about Bitcoin. Wow, my goal has been reached. I'm so happy about it.
Look, you can use the two tools that we have in Bitcoin. Here's my suggestion. One is open source, and second of all, it's
Oh,
Zap
sorry.
rewards, Lightning rewards.
No, no.
So
Yeah, right.
you could say add a new resource that isn't here, or edit something that has broken, or a broken link, or something that changed. And if you update it, and if it's a helpful edit, you get zapped a small amount, like
So
5,000
I
sats.
have
It
to
doesn't
say
have to be a huge
that
amount.
yes, it has already been like that in the sense that you can submit a PR request on GitHub, and so I'm not the only one maintaining that. There are plenty of people there doing all the updates for me. So it has been a collective work, but the idea of having Zaps is so great. I love that so much. I never thought about it. So it's really, really something. I don't
It's
know
a
how to
tiny
say
incentive. Yeah, it's a tiny incentive. You have to do the work of checking out if the edit is good, what or not, and you might get some spam. I don't know, in case people find
yeah,
out about it. But it is part of the what we can do with the tools that we have right now. And I don't know if you know this, but we use Zaps generally in Lavis Bitcoin, in Noster.
yeah,
So
right.
it does work as an incentive.
Yeah,
And also, I've seen Apollo Sats basically do the same. Give us a proper review of a Bitcoin service or product, and we will zap you some Sats in return for adding
absolutely.
a helpful review.
And
So it is part of that. Yeah, you could find some people willing to do
no,
that.
amazing
It will
idea.
always be, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, it's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
I was only thinking about technically how is it possible right now on GitHub, but maybe moving somewhere else on Nostr, for example, or just having the
Well,
two things going on there.
Well,
Yeah,
Jack Dorsey has given a bounty on people making a GitHub
oh,
on Nostr. I think it's a full Bitcoin or something like that. It is a serious amount. He isolated this exact thing as what's missing right now
amazing.
to have
So I
to
wasn't
have a
aware of that.
decentralized
So that's
GitHub.
pretty
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I like it.
It, yeah, but they haven't started it. No one has picked
But
that
it's
up. I'm
going to
sure
happen.
some people have worked on it.
It's
Yeah.
going to happen at some
Yeah.
point.
So hopefully when that happens and it becomes a solid and decentralized thing on Noster, it will be just integrated, so you can just zap the contributors natively inside the
I can't
platform.
wait. I
So
can't
yeah,
wait.
people get this started. I think it's been close to a year now. So yeah,
Oh,
you're
wow.
not too late in
Wow.
you're late in picking up that bounty. You should work on that if you have the skills. That's awesome. Okay, so that's your work. It's on your profile link. Of course, people should follow Mir on Twitter, and that's in Italian. Okay, I will wait for the English version of the book and the resources. You mentioned the Bitcoin meetups. I wanted to ask you something.
Yes.
I don't have experience in organizing meetups. I was very lucky to come onto the Bitcoin community, and we already have two very strong Bitcoin meetups in Athens,
Mm,
running in parallel. And the same organizer, Dimitris, has also started one in Cyprus. So we basically cover the entire Greek-speaking population in this part of the world. So I was very lucky. Not never missing this experience of having a Bitcoin meetup, which I'm sure some people strive for. But you organized 50 plus Bitcoin meetups in Milan.
Yeah.
Give me some advice on that. What have you learned? Like five things that you've learned from organizing the meetups in Milan.
That wow, that's I don't know. I could have done that because it was before the kids. The first one don't have kids because
Oh, okay, okay, of course. You have the time to organize them,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
Okay,
because
that's
I
one
was,
thing.
it was a monthly meetup, and so I was like, um, I was when I stopped with one meetup, I was already organizing the next meetup for the next month. So it was very, very hard because so our idea was the early days of Bit, not early days, but I would say the years around 2015, 2018. So during those years, we wanted to have a speaker every time, a famous speaker. So we had so many great speakers there, from Antonopoulos to Adam Beck to you name it. We had so it was something in between a conference and a meetup. So my
Mm,
second suggestion would be, probably you don't need that. You want to do something informal. So right now in Italy, there's these meetups called Satoshi Spritz, which means just like spritz, they are the typical Italian drink. So it means that you go there, you talk with other Bitcoiners, and you can do that weekly without organizing too much. But at the same time, you want to keep the community alive all the time. So of course, you have to use other type of meetings online to keep the conversation and the people knowing each other. And also you want to, in a way, to establish a sort of a rule, because otherwise the scammers or other people are going to enter and ruin everything. It's
yeah.
You have to do from the beginning. So for example, the group we have in Milano meetup, it's just like pinned everything, like we are only discussing that. Please don't do that, because otherwise people are going, I have to send to sell some bitcoins or do things like that. No, no, it's not possible. We're only talking about Bitcoin. We are meeting there. And also to find a place, they are happy to have Bitcoiners. So where you can have some spritz, when you can stay there, and they are happy because you are giving them value. So for example, we have found some Bitcoiners. So the community is growing up so much that, for example, there was a guy that was also a barman. So that was the best match. So we can stay there, paying with Bitcoin and so on. So the best Bitcoin environment and best Bitcoin people, it's just okay. But sometimes you just want to start. So for example, in Lugano, we just started out of nothing, and things were just ready. And so the community grew up very vividly, and we didn't imagine that. So they only needed someone to tell them, okay, you're going to do that, you're going to do that, and give some direction. And it was very spontaneous. So it's not a big commitment. Uh, if you do that informal, but of course you want to distribute the roles, because somebody has to be more consistent in their role, because otherwise it's going to stop very soon. So for example, the Milan meetup, as we knew it, it basically closed when I had my daughter, because we couldn't find somebody who wanted to keep everything up just like in the past.
Mm,
And so and, something else was born, just like the Satoshi Spritz, which is even better in many regards. But of course, it's important. Some people will be consistent in that. And yes, those are my 2 cents. Just to start and go on, find some people that can help, and the community is going to be really, really, it's going to really surprise you. So, for example, right now in Italy, there are very small community in very small places, but if you look at the maps, the Satoshi Spritz map is incredible. There are Bitcoin meetups all over Italy. And when I think about it, during the years when I was more active organizing meetups, there were probably 2, 3s all over Italy. And this is the situation.
Mm.
Wow, this is really
Yeah, yeah.
impressive.
It is crazy. It is crazy. You see the meetups popping up
Yeah,
in Europe, in larger countries, smaller countries. It is becoming quite a movement. That's what I see with Bitcoin. And of course, there are people like our own Dimitris in Athens and in Thessaloniki and in Cyprus. People like you organizing these meetups on and off every month, and trying to create something that will help people. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
because they show up. We had a bit devs meetup. We have a specialized bit devs meetup, which is obviously a
yeah.
lot more technical, right?
Mm.
By the way, Giacomo would love that. He's invited to that
That's
if he
really
wants to come.
exciting.
I need to tell him, but you tell him too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Both ways. It's
we
better to
and
repeat stuff to him.
and it was very surprising that we it was such a technical meetup, and we ended up being 16 people interested in a technical talk about Bitcoin and the developments in Bitcoin. We can't even keep up with the developments, right? And people say that, oh, Bitcoin is very stagnant or whatever. No, look at our resources. You can't even read through all of them in a month.
Well,
It's far too much stuff
yeah, it is.
to
It is.
keep up with.
Absolutely.
And that was amazing what happened, that some people came out, some original Bitcoiners, we were talking like 7 8 years, even 10 years, who have been in Athens, and they had seen the meetups or whatever, but they had never shown up before. So when you're consistent, you have these people coming out of the
Yeah.
woodwork and saying, "Okay, hi, oh, the first time I'm interacting with this community, even though I'm a Bitcoiner for 10 years now."
And
It's
And
crazy.
also another thing you want to consider, there are plenty of Bitcoiners that are traveling, and nowadays they are searching for Bitcoin meetups in the place they are traveling to. So
Yeah.
it's kind of normal to get people there. Oh, I am in Italy. Can I come to your meetup? Or just I'm around. Are you hosting your meetup? So you're going to be surprised how many people show up from all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've seen it happening during our English-speaking meetups. There are travelers showing up because it's on meetup.com, and that helps
Yeah,
out a
yeah,
lot.
it is.
Usually, that's a great hack. I've seen it from another thing that we do, but it also helps out with this meetup. If I can add a suggestion to people wanting to do Bitcoin meetups, meetup.com is very popular with travelers. So if you do English speaking meetups, basically, you will find people that will just show up because they saw it there and they want to network, or they're Bitcoiners and they happen to travel, and some people wanting to meet the local people and expand their circle. So that always helps. Obviously, you need a core base of
Yeah.
local coiners, okay, but it's very nice to have some people visiting, and you never know. Yeah, it might
Who's
be
going to show
amazing.
up? Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so that's your wisdom about Bitcoin meetups, which is very, very nice. And what else? What else? Let's talk about the halving. Let's go back to Santorini. First of all, you said something that I really liked when we discussed this about you coming to give the talk. You said something that I really liked. I don't remember how it was exactly. You said you like to be there at the start of something,
Yeah.
to support something that's starting. Of course, I appreciate that. But tell us about that. Have you been to many starts, to many beginnings?
Oh.
What is this about?
Well, I don't know, but the first things that pop up in my mind was the I've always been at the Riga conference. I mean, except for 1 year after I had my second kid, but I was there during the first Baltic Honey Badger conference, and it was. not many people were around. And so it was very, very different from now, for example. And so I like the idea that I was there. Probably Giacomo told me about we are going to go to Riga, and I was like, okay. And it was probably the first maximalist conference, so we were very excited about it. And but you don't right now. Many people are going to the conference. They are big conference, and they're thinking that they're always been like that. But the first year were like that, so we experienced it. I mean, I know it's kind of popular um, the image or the video. I don't remember Antonopoulos talking about Bitcoin to 3 4 people. But yes, I wasn't there exactly like that, but 10 people were just like the average. And I like the idea that when you experience the people there, the energy, even if they are 10, the energy is so strong. I wouldn't say that it's stronger than hundreds of people, but it's still the commitment, the passion, and everything going on. They want to start something new. They have this energy that I really like. And if I can be around, if I can, in a way, give my 2 cents or help in a way, I'm so happy because I know for certain that it's not going to last, and I'm happy that it's not going to last for sure.
Yes, so that's a hard lesson. That's a tough lesson in life that these nice moments don't last that long, and we need to appreciate them. But it is nice to be there at the beginning of
Yeah, it's
something
magic.
beautiful. It is magical. It is magical. And Bitcoin is bringing that sort of feeling back into the world. I see many optimistic people. We had a talk last week with Pablo from Panties for Bitcoin, and his words of wisdom were that the future is bright, it's orange. He's a delightful person. He's very optimistic. And that's what you see with all the Bitcoiners you talk, and they are talking about starting families, about starting businesses, about
Yeah,
creating, doing artwork, organizing meetups. It's all about creativity, it's all about building or educating or things like that.
it's so
There's
different
never,
from the
yeah,
mood you
yeah.
get from people outside Bitcoin. It's all about so depressing, so negative.
Yeah, we never talk about, oh, how much money you made or how to scam
No,
people,
so,
or no, it's about providing value, about helping your customers,
yeah,
helping
yeah,
your students, helping your meetup members. Or right now I'm doing a conference. I'm asking conference organizers about their advice, and they're happy to give it to me, and they
It's
tell me, oh, I learned
amazing.
this. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. They want to help in
Yeah,
case
right?
they can.
Yeah,
It 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 is a wholly different mindset. It's a whole different
yeah.
attitude in life.
You get
And
used.
honestly,
At some point, you get used. But
yeah,
when you go out and see all the other people, you're like, oh my God, this is not normal at all. Like, the people are very competitive, are very strict about their secret, especially in business or whatever.
yeah,
And we are all about open source stuff, helping each other because we know that if we are helping each other, we are helping Bitcoin. We are just helping the community, and in a way we are helping ourselves too. It's a completely different mindset. But it's also a matter of habit. We are not thinking too much, we are just sharing knowledge, we're sharing stuff. We don't we are very different, we are widely different, definitely.
yeah. And it attracts that sort of person who
Yeah,
enjoys this, whom, and you end up making that a part of your life. That's what we say when we say that Bitcoin, after getting orange pilled, after meeting Bitcoin, basically that my life has changed, my attitude, my priorities in life, all these things. That's why so many people experience this culture shock, and we want to offer this to as many people as possible. Basically, basically what we're doing, right?
yeah, right, absolutely. That's very nice. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, let's talk. You mentioned Santorini, so let's go to that. Okay, it's the first time you're going to Santorini,
Yeah,
right?
I'm so excited. It's one of my dream destination. It's also my first time in Greece too, and so
Nice.
yeah, yeah, I'm very, very excited about that because I don't know that there are some places that really resonate with you. You don't understand why, but it always been like that for me. Santorini, I always tell Giacomo, please take me there, but we didn't have the occasion. So
Yeah.
yeah, and also I think that April is a very nice month to go there, not very touristic yet, probably. So I really
Yes,
like the idea.
it is. If people don't know, usually Santorini is swarming with tourists. It's not like the photographs,
Mhm.
it's not like the posters. It's very popular. There are so
Yeah.
many people, but April is quite early in the tourist season, so it's not that many people. Obviously, there are going to be plenty of tourists, but it's not that many people. So prices are a bit normal. That's why we chose
Oh,
to do
cool.
it there. We don't want to be in a very expensive destination and price out some people because we want this to be as accessible as possible. And some people are coming with their families, so expenses are doubled and tripled.
Oh,
So we wanted to make this easy for everyone. At the same time, we wanted one of the most popular destinations, which is Santorini. We could have picked another island, but because the halving was in April, and I knew that things will be much more approachable in price range and this whole thing, I decided to do it in Santorini and go for the big island, let's say. Just because the halving happened to be in April. If it was in August, we probably wouldn't do it there
okay, yeah, absolutely.
because it's the high
Yeah,
season.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine. Wow.
yeah, it is a very popular island. And yeah, you said okay. You were asking Giacomo to take you there. Are you gonna bring him there?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Ah, you think so? Okay, that's
I
nice.
mean,
That's
it's
nice.
going to be
We
around. Yeah.
we met both in Prague and in Riga, but okay, we spoke a bit, outside after your talk, and we've spoken online with Giacomo plenty of times. I generally want him to talk to me about the Plan B,
Yeah,
the
absolutely,
the
absolutely.
network, and of course, it's always a delight to talk to him in general. So that would be lovely having you there. It is gonna be. Let's since we've started this, let's talk about this so that people who are listening can know what we're talking about. The Santorini Halving Party is happening this April 12th to 14th. It's a weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's happening in Santorini, Greece. You can find the details and the tickets at loveisbitcoin.com/halving party, or you can just Google Santorini Halving Party and it's right there. And there are a limited number of tickets available, limited number of hotel rooms. We're only going to be about 100 people. We have excellent guests like Mir, and some that I haven't announced yet because I need them to confirm. I don't want to announce something without them confirming. But why did I want Mir there? Why was I delighted when Mir said, yes, I will come? I think she's an amazing inspiration. I don't know if people agree with me, the audience. Uh, she's a mother, she's a polymath, she's a Bitcoiner. She has done the meetups and she's giving talks. She's invited to so many conferences. And I think it's one of the best examples that we can give to young women so that they are inspired and to see that Bitcoin is for everyone. Okay, it's a mainstream thing. Everyone can bother with it. It's not just for shadowy super coders, right? I don't
Absolutely.
know.
Wow. Thank you for the kind words. But yeah, I resonate especially with the last part. So I like the idea. I mean, I can be very nerdy. I can be.
You are nerdy. Yeah, you are nerdy. Yes, but
I am, but
you hide it well. You
yeah,
when, they're not. There are nerdy girls, and when you see them, when you meet them, you say, "Okay, this is a nerd."
yeah,
No,
absolutely,
you're
I
not.
am.
You don't look like a nerdy girl. You're a hidden nerdy girl.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
because
uh,
I
that's true.
have, well, my previous life, not so previous, but life before Bitcoin, I used to be a singer, so I studied singing. I used to go on stage, and so I worked a lot of myself as not be a nerd. It's something I wanted to learn. I also have been an actress in my free time, so singing was my profession. So I am a vocal coach, and from time to time I teach people to sing. So right now I have two students, for example,
Nice.
and so. Yeah, this is why I can look not less nerdy, and I like the idea that people can see me and say, oh, this is a mom, this is a normal person, she's using Bitcoin, she's talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not something so scary. And so I like the idea they can reach out Bitcoin, and they trust me. So my approach is different, but everyone has a different approach to Bitcoin. I just feel that my approach is less popular nowadays. You think about Bitcoin and you think of a trader, or you think of a shadowy super coder, and it just, but the community is full of people just like me, or just like mom, dad, or just plumbers or whatever. Well, it's amazing. So right now you can use Bitcoin and services with Bitcoin from people all over the world doing all the jobs with completely different role, because it's so popular, it's so normalized. But the people that are talking about Bitcoin are just more standard in a way. So crypto boys, traders, or coders. And so we really need other people, normal people, to talk about Bitcoin, to normalize in a way using Bitcoin, and not only using Bitcoin, but also when I say using Bitcoin, not only as a currency, as I was telling before, using Bitcoin also for knowledge, also for meeting person, also for community or whatever. It's more than a currency, of course. And so I like the idea. Yeah, I'm more approachable. I would say that.
You are. And since you mentioned that you will have a job during the Santorini Halving party, you will give the talk. Okay, that's set in the schedule. But there are many people who will be bringing their girlfriends and
Oh
wives
yeah.
for the
Yeah.
first time in a Bitcoin event.
Wow, that's great. Looking forward to
So
meet them.
you will have the task of making, I don't know, if basically orange pilling that spouse
I will
or
do my
girlfriend.
best. I will do my best.
Yeah, I'm sure. So yeah, keep an eye out
Yeah,
if I
absolutely.
introduce you to someone that, because this was one of the amazing things, the feedback that I got with the Santorini Calvin party was that three separate people told me, okay, you know what? I've been a Bitcoiner for 5, 6 years or whatever. I've been to so many meetups, so many conferences. My girlfriend or my wife has never been to one. Okay, and but she wants to come to this. It's an easy sell. It's a very easy sell to your wife, to your girlfriend. Okay, there's a Bitcoin thing in Santorini. Let's go there, and
Yeah, it is.
there's gonna be
It is easy
there's gonna be
around.
other
Yeah.
people with their families, with their girlfriends, with their wives, and so we're gonna go there, hang out. It's not gonna be far too technical, It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be a festival. We'll have games, stuff like that. So.
Wait.
I was very happy when people told me, this is the first time that she said yes
Wow.
in
Oh,
coming to a
that's so
Bitcoin thing.
cool. That's
So
so cool.
yeah. That's why I'm really bullish about this whole thing. That it's helping not making it too mainstream, okay, but it's helping what we're saying all this time, that it is for everyone and everybody needs it, but they don't know that they need it.
Yeah,
So this is
right.
gonna be a nice place to expose this to you.
I love this.
So
I love this.
we're gonna listen to you on stage. That people will have the opportunity to talk to you. It's a more casual, and it's not a conference where there are 500 or 1,000
Yeah,
people. So we will be able to talk to people,
I
and
love
chat
this.
a little
I
bit
love this.
more. Yes, and so I'm sure it's gonna be a great experience. So people who are thinking about coming and are on the fence, that's one of the best arguments for it. And if you wanna bring your wife, your girlfriend, or on the opposite, if you're a woman and your partner has never bothered with Bitcoin before, Santorini is the best way to sell it,
Right.
so that they
Yeah,
come to
yeah.
the meetup slash conference slash festival, basically. Yeah, honestly, three different guys told me that exact same thing, and I'm very happy
Me,
because
I can
this is
wait for
amazing. Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Because you're an old timer, basically, you've been in Bitcoin for how many years?
Oh, how many years? I guess around 2014. Yeah.
2014. So it's basically 10 years, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's wow,
right.
that's quite a lot. But I'm stupid enough to have been involved in Bitcoin in 2014, basically 2016. But I didn't become a Bitcoiner. I became a Bitcoiner in the past 3 years. So I was exposed to it, but I never got to study it. Anyway, that's not what I want to say. I want to ask you: have you celebrated the halving before?
Ah, wow. So yes, so I celebrated during 2016, and was we organized a party in Milan. So I was just
Nice.
decluttering my wardrobe the other day, and I just found a T-shirt. And to me, that T-shirt is so precious because it just like the first halving. We were in a park in the center of Milan, full of people. I would say that probably, yeah, 100 people showed up. So it was kind of massive, all considered. It was a very big party, and we enjoyed that so much. On the contrary, in 2020, we were locked down. So we kind of celebrated in front of a computer. And I remember about that Giacomo was supposed to be on so many uh, different live halving celebration. So I was
Yeah.
remember that we are juggling between monitor, trying to keep up with everything. And I remember all the blocks, and we were like, oh, usually during the halvings, the blocks go very fast and they're very predictable. And so we were expecting the blocks coming faster, but not so fast. So I remember the last block really surprised everyone. So it happened way before then it was fought. And so I remember we celebrated with champagne in our apartment, lockdown in our in Italy, and it was pretty epic because people were just locked down and living the worst part of the last years, and we were just celebrating happy about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
kind of bullish in
Well,
the
yeah,
future.
quite different, and quite different from what we're doing right now, which is gonna be, yeah, fun in the sun and the sea. So yeah, so hopefully it will average out. But that was interesting as well, like being on Zoom, we're invited to so many events, and I'm sure YouTube
Really,
channels and
in
stuff like that.
retrospective, it's going to be historic
Mm.
and all considered. I really hope you're going to celebrate so many Alvings. So it's going
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
be something to
That's what
remember.
we're trying to do. We're in talks. We're partners with Tomek, he's in the Bitcoin Film Fest, and they're doing the
Yeah, yeah,
European halving party,
yeah.
and they're organizing that in Poland. It's 1 week after.
Oh, wow.
It's on the 20th, and that's what we were talking about. That we want to start. Um, Basically to use not to use to start a tradition, to start some halving
Mm,
traditions,
love this.
and they might get picked up. People might do them in like 10 years or so, 12 or whatever, which is halving. People might abandon them, they might switch to others, it might adapt, but I think that the Bitcoin culture is mature enough to start having these things and celebrating the halving and our calendar and whatnot, and to have some more sort of tra- some traditions that can start this year, basically.
Hmm. I like that.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Because yeah, I remember that 2016 was the normal to do halving where you live, basically with the people around you. And but right
Yeah.
now you want also to use that as an occasion to travel a little bit more. And if you
Mm.
go, you can choose different places, or you can go to the same one, just like a tradition. So it's around that time we are going to celebrate together just once again in Greece, just like Olympics every 4 years. Let's go
Yeah.
there. It's going to be like really nice to come back there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And since you mentioned the Olympics, we're also thinking that was Tomek's idea, but we developed it little bit more. We're going to do the Halving Games, which
Mm.
is basically a mix bit of Bitcoin theme and the some Olympic games, some sports basically. And we have come up with some ideas, and we'll share them with the other Halving Party organizers around the world,
Wow.
and hopefully if they like it they might organize the same things, and just have it as a meme basically. I'm sure the material, the video, the photos are going to be very funny, what this entire thing with the halving games,
Wow.
because we are going to try and make it a tradition so that people have fun and try and do something. It can be very silly, it can be a half marathon,
Oh,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
which is plenty of kilometers. It can be a 50-meter dash, like instead of 100 meters, it's around 50 meters, and whoever wins will get something at the end, probably from our sponsors, but it will most likely be something silly uh, for the first prize. Yeah, we're working on that, but hopefully it will be fun. But the most important thing is hopefully other people will do the same throughout April in the other
Yeah, yeah.
parties,
That will
in
make
the
it
other
more
halving
fun to
parties.
have it
Yeah,
globally.
yeah, yeah. As much as possible. Okay, we'll share it when talks with some of the organizers, and some people are planning fun things, and yeah, it will hopefully be very nice. Okay, so okay, let's use this question. Let's go to that. What do you think about this shift from moving to a Bitcoin conference to a Bitcoin experience? Let's call it a festival, but focusing on more of the fun. I know that you were just in El Salvador with some sort of open market, something like that. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, uh, I like conferences in general, but I also like everything that is going on before and after a conference. So I really like this idea of having Bitcoin experience because, as I told you before, the magic usually happens there, and also
Mm,
I like to get a lot some variety, and so yeah, I really like it. I'm looking forward to that. So in El Salvador, there is adopting Bitcoin the conference after that, because adopting Bitcoin is in the capital San Salvador, but then you move to El Zonte, which is 40 minutes from the capital. And you stay there if you want to for a week for a festival. So there are plenty of other occasion meetups, there at dinner, and people around the street selling things in Bitcoin and so on. So it's very nice because it's an extended part of the conference. And also, there is another thing that usually happens every Sunday, every two Sunday, which is the Bitcoin farmer market. So we have been in El Salvador for 2 months this year, so from all November, all December, all the family, of course. And so it has been a very nice experience to stay there for a longer time and to experience everything that is going on in El Salvador. And so we went there to the farmer market every single time because we wanted to buy stuff uh, explicitly with Bitcoin to help people that are boosting the circular economy. So we get a lot of food, we got books, we got jewelry. I also made my daughter paying with Bitcoin for the first time. She was really excited.
Nice,
And
nice. Yeah.
it's happening in El Salvador. That happened all the time, especially because we were in a Zonte, and so at the Bitcoin beach, of course, there are plenty of shops accepting Bitcoins. And so I have to say that it's really, really nice to see also this type of initiatives experiencing people that are selling their work, their services, their products in Bitcoin, and they are paying for stuff in Bitcoin. So you really see, and you are helping, you are part of that circular economy, because it's very nice to talk about a circular economy, but you want to use some Bitcoin. I know that we are hodling, but from time to time, it's so important to use Bitcoin. And so it was just like a realization, just like, oh yes, I'm paying my food with Bitcoins, and then I'm paying and it just, so people are telling us lighting doesn't work, but I paid everything that I owe in this apartment with Bitcoin, with
Yeah.
lighting. So of course they are wrong, just like what the Polymathy that we were talking before. I don't have time to explain to you that polymaths exist, but I'm going to do the same. But it's kind of silly because it's just the reality. It's just like that for lightning too, right? So of course it's working, of course, because we are exchanging goods with lightning.
Of course, I agree with you, and I haven't been in a local circular economy, but it's very funny because we've been developing the Love is Bitcoin magazine for 2 years now, and the whole thing that we're working on is Lightning based, is
Okay.
Bitcoin based. So I have, for example, Libby. She's the community manager. She's being paid in Bitcoin. Our editor, our video editor, is being. I just paid him in Bitcoin. Our sponsors pay
Yeah.
us in Bitcoin. We order stuff, we pay in Bitcoin. It's we made I make so many transactions right now with Bitcoin and with Lightning, which is very normal for me because it just works. Okay, so it's laughable when people tell me, oh, Lightning doesn't work. Have you used it? I'm using it. If you count the zaps on Noster, I'm using Lightning as a business 50 times per day. So it's crazy when people tell me, "Oh, Lightning doesn't work."
It's
Just try
really
and
just
use it.
stupid.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very silly.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
mean,
silly.
yeah, the only way we are still talking about that is because we are still, it's still unbelievable. I mean, for me, because I am lucky enough to have met people developing Lightning when Lightning was only a paper, the white paper of Lightning. It wasn't a thing. So we're still not a believer in the sense that, wow, this is too cool to be true. But
Yeah,
we have to accept the fact that it's a reality, that it's working. It's not coming, of course, from us from a sense of bashing or against Latin, but it's coming from a sense of, oh, this is too cool to be true. It couldn't work. It's
it is working. And we in Riga, for
well,
example, the food trucks
yeah,
were all powered by BTC Pay server, and you could just use Lightning and not even touch Euro at all, right? You could use it or around the shops in the conference. Obviously, that's a special situation, and obviously, when you go to places like El Salvador with organic Bitcoin adoption, especially in El Zonte, I think,
yeah, the situation is
is that where
different
the
in other
Bitcoin beach
parts. Yeah.
is? Yeah, that should be a very nice experience. Or if you go to Lugano, where
Oh,
it's a bit of
yeah, it's nice there
it's
too.
a bit of an enterprise, but there are people, there are shops where you can use it.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you actually start, yeah, sorry, when you start using it, you understand that this thing is working. This thing is working. It's changing the world right
yeah.
now. And yes, self custody in Lightning is a bit problematic,
Mhm.
but we do have some solutions that sort of work right now. It's Breeze, Phoenix Wallet, and my personal favorite, which is Zeus Lightning Wallet. These are three implementations that allow you to have a self-custodial Lightning wallet, basically, or you can just use a custodial wallet for spending money, and it just works, and someone else bothers with the IT, obviously. But the thing is that Lightning works, and if you want to use it, you can use it for your business all day long. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm shifting our business to more and more of a Bitcoin standard all the time, as much as possible. And every time that you have to use the traditional banking system or PayPal or something else, it looks archaic. It looks archaic,
It is.
just like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bitcoin just works, and even in a high fee environment, if you know how to set up your own fee rate and to just read the mempool, you can send with a moderate fee. You don't have to pay a lot
mm,
in fees, and if you're willing to wait a bit. So I'm positive that most people who are talking about hodling and who are against Lightning have never actually used it.
yeah, I
And
have
I
seen
know
it.
that for a fact because I teach Bitcoin workshops, and the basic things that I do is to have them do an on-chain transaction and the
Yeah,
Lightning transaction. And it's for most people, it's the first time that they've ever used Bitcoin basically on chain or at least on layer two.
yeah,
And we're talking about people who might have invested who might have invested six figures, for example, on an exchange like on Binance or Kraken or whatever. And they have bought Bitcoin, they have studied Bitcoin, but they have never used it. You even see these kinds of situations.
oh, crazy.
And
Yeah, yeah, I believe you. I believe you. Totally.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's very important to show it to people. Anyway, honestly, look, Mir, I know that we can talk for hours, and people have been listening in, but I'm sure we can talk for hours with so many things to talk about. Let's just recap a bit where people can enjoy your work, where people can see you talk. Let's first of all, in Italian, Mir has a list of resources in Italian. It's in her Twitter,
yeah,
or in her profile link
yep,
for Italian speakers. You can find that, right?
yep.
You want to
It's,
add
yeah,
something to that?
yeah, yeah. It's linked there.
Nice. Then after that, it's quite soon. She will be at Bitcoin Oasis in Dubai, giving a talk there, right?
Yep. You are going
Nice.
to do a coin join talk with Giacomo for the first time. So
Ah,
I was
nice.
experiment that. Yeah.
CoinJoin, you're talking it, you're
Talk about
making
coin
fun of
join.
it. You're saying that you're gonna be together, right?
So we're going to do a a join. I mean, we're going to do a talk together, not about to conjoin, but
Yes, that's what I got. That's what I got. You said that
but I
you
will
used it as a
listen to
joke.
myself. It was like, oh my god, it seems just like we are going to talk about a conjoin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it, but yeah, just wanted the clarification for people in case they wanna listen to it.
Yeah,
What is it gonna be about?
yeah. So all the mistakes you can do before, during, and after mm, having Bitcoin.
Awesome. Okay, that's an important issue. I wanna listen to that speech. And after that, is there another conference in between,
Yeah,
or
Madeira.
is it Santorini next?
Yeah, Madeira.
Madeira. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yes, of course, Madeira. Okay, which seems like it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be quite a big conference.
Yeah.
Everybody I know is going there. So hopefully you will all have fun there. I will be organizing Santorini.
Yeah, I can
So
imagine you
I'm
have
not
to stay
I,
there.
I'm
Yeah.
not planning. I could, but it would be crazy. I don't want to stress myself out that much. Even though it's a month earlier, I don't want to focus on something else
Absolutely.
because
I understand.
Sant yeah, because Santorini is okay. I admit that this is the first time I'm organizing something,
Yeah.
but I have a cheat code. I have a cheat code.
Mm.
I have a team
Yeah, yeah, of course.
of amazing
Oh,
people. Right now, it's three women plus one remote, which is Flo. She's helping out with marketing and the social media. The three Greek team members, they're very experienced in organizing things. They're Bitcoiners, and of course, they know what they're doing. Whereas I just say, "Oh, I want to do this thing," and they tell me, "Okay, you know what? This is how you want to do this in case you want this to be successful." So it's a partnership of sorts where I say, "Okay, let's go this way," and they reel me in.
fantastic. Wow.
That's how it goes. So that's why I'm confident that we will have an amazing experience because there are people helping me who can organize things. Basically, I'm not ashamed to say this that this is the first time that I'm organizing
Mm.
an event. Even some people might consider it small, but it is big for me. If it's a
Oh,
hundred people,
it
it
is
is
big.
it is quite big for me, even if it's only one weekend. And the stress is a
Yeah.
bit too much. So I don't want to go to another conference, and
Yeah,
which would it would help with networking, of course. But yeah,
I get
it's
it.
too close.
I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, I will probably go to Prague afterwards.
Yeah.
it's in
So you're
June,
finally
something like
going
that.
to enjoy the event because when you are the organizer, you're not going to enjoy the event so much. And so you're going.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, something like that. Um, so yeah, Mir, look, obvious. We've been talking for close,
Yeah.
just short of 2 hours. So let's wrap this up. We can talk for hours. We can
Yeah,
talk for
for
hours. That's
sure.
obvious. That's certain. I can't wait to see you again in person. We will have an amazing time in Santorini,
I'm sure about it.
and we will enjoy you giving the talk up on stage. And because it's a smaller event, people will be able to talk to everybody pretty much. So it's not going to be this chaos of the conference, which is another fun thing in and on itself. But we are going for the festival experience,
Love,
right?
love it.
Okay. Just to sum it up and finish this space, the Santorini Halving party is in this April, April 12th to 14th. It's a weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can find the details and the tickets at loveisbitcoin.com / halving party, or just Google Santorini Halving party and you'll find it. Mir is one of our guest speakers. I can't wait for you to listen to her talk, to enjoy her up on stage, and hopefully more polymaths will huddle
Sure.
together. Will discover. Will find each other. Will network, and hopefully we will create something else. Even if we don't end up working together, it's good to know that there are people out there
Mhm.
who think the
Yeah,
same way that
yeah,
you
yeah,
do.
absolutely.
It, it is very important. It is very important. Okay, Mir, do you want to tell us something before we close up?
Oh, well, we touched a lot of topics. So I wouldn't miss Santorini. The only things probably I am so happy to be a speaker, but probably I would looking forward to go even as an attendee because it's I like the idea that's an experience, a festival, also the location. Also, I've never been to Greece and looking forward to meet people from Greece. So I wouldn't miss it probably, but I'm lucky
Nice,
enough to
nice.
be a second
That's
speaker.
awesome. Well, if you happen to come as a guest, I would just push you up on stage. You
Okay,
know,
so
even if you didn't have anything organized, yes, I would just. And if you were feeling lonely, we would just have a talk like we're doing right now. But yeah, I would push you up on stage just because I'm not saying that to appease you. I'm not just saying that because it's you're listening right now. I honestly believe that you're a great role model. You are what we call women's empowerment and having some excellent role models. You are that person, and basically, more ladies need to know about you and listen to you, and have this amazing experience of talking with you, so that they get inspired and that they can go on and move and do stuff on their own and follow their
hopefully,
dreams.
hopefully,
And
hopefully.
yeah,
Wow, that's a very nice goal. I hope to just accomplish 1%, but I'm going to do my best.
you will, you will. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Yeah. Okay, Mir.
Okay.
Look, we had an amazing discussion about so many things, just like another call that we had. So yeah, let's wrap this up. And thanks everybody. You can listen to this recording again in case you missed out in the beginning. We'll have this recording up on the account. We'll put it up again as a YouTube. But yeah, this is about Mir in general, her work, and her talk in the Santorini Halving party this year, this April.
Okay. I
Okay.
can't wait to know the other speakers who is going to be there too. Very, very curious. But
Yes, yes, of course. We'll have the announcement pretty soon.
amazing. Okay,
Okay,
thank you very much.
that's all. Good night for me because it's nighttime where I am,
Oh,
and see you around.
absolutely. Ciao a tutti. Ciao ciao.
Ciao.